The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How LEGO Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. Hello everybody, this is Ben.
This is Var.
This is Kahi.
And we welcome you to TTV Talks.
I was really hoping that you would go for, this is TTV Talks. So it would be like, this is Ben, this is Var, this is Kai, and this is TTV Talks. It seems like it would, flow pretty well,
Okay, fine. I'll keep that in mind next time. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, but with you, it seems like a weekly thing.
What do you mean a weekly thing? I don't do this all the time.
I meant improvement. There's room for improvement weekly, on a weekly basis.
Wow. Freaking shots being fired.
Well, I don't...
Throwing Ben under the bus. Good grief. That's the worst throwing under the bus than that's the worst throwing under the bus I've seen since Josh Trank threw Fantastic Four under the bus.
It seems like the entire cast of that movie threw it under the bus.
Well, the cast were kind of like, it's gonna be okay, we put a lot of effort into it, and this Josh Trank was just like, there's a better movie that I made, and you'll never get to see it, so...
The funny thing was, I actually saw an interview, I forget what show it was, it might have been Ellen, because I was just walking past the TV, and my mom was watching it, so yeah, it was probably Ellen. But what's his face who played Reed Richards?
Oh, Miles Teller. Miles Teller.
Oh,
Miles Teller.
Teller.
And I remember hearing him being like, "Oh yeah, dude, my dad was so excited when I got the part because he's a huge Fantastic Four fan."
Oh man, I bet he was disappointed.
And I'm just like, "Oh,
son,
all right.
I'm disappointed."
How is it? Like, do you think they ever did the thing where they're working on the movie and like halfway, like through the acting day, they turn to each other and are like, they're gonna reboot us, aren't they? Yeah. Or like we're in the middle, like this is a movie they're gonna reboot the next time they do this.
Guys, I'm having a feeling that this movie's gonna suck. What do we do?
Yeah, I have to wonder what it was like for them, like the cast when they signed on for this movie. Like what? Surely there was a warning sign at some point, like red flags at some point. This was just going to be an awful movie.
It was probably when Josh Trank came to the set like super high and drunk and smashed stuff around. They had to redo it. That's probably when they realized this movie's not going to turn out that well.
Yeah, I always wonder this about bad movies though, because like. I wonder when the actor sits down on the set and he just looks at his like co-actor and he's just like, "What have I done to my career?"
You think Peter Dinklage did that to like not Adam Sandler, Kevin James on Pixels? He's like, "I work in Game of Thrones. I hope you remember this. Like I do Game of Thrones. I don't know why I was doing this. I just kind of needed some spare money to go like on vacation."
I signed on to this thinking it was going to be like a really cool movie, and then it's like what's his face, Bill Murray. When he signed on for Garfield.
Yeah. Well, you heard the story behind that, right?
Yeah, because he thought it was...
the Coen brothers. He thought it was the Coen brothers, and it was like some Cohen guy. Anyhow, he just didn't read the script. He thought it was a good director.
Yeah, he didn't even bother reading the script when he signed on for it, because he was just like, yeah, I trust the director. And it turned out it wasn't even the same guy.
Right.
And he signed on for Garfield, which was a really poor adaptation of the comics.
Well, I mean, they lampshaded that in Zombieland later, but...
They did.
That was funny.
I'm just really disappointed in the Fantastic Four. I really am. I wanted a good Fantastic Four movie.
I knew it was going to be bad, so I didn't even watch it in theaters.
Sorry,
I was holding out hope.
I wanted a good Fantastic Four movie in Marvel.
Too, but none of the trailers looked all too appealing to me, and I don't know.
See,
plus,
my thing
I didn't exactly support the movie either.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't support like Fox or Sony in their movies, but like everyone kind of wants to see these franchises fail so that Marvel can get the rights back. But the issue I have with that is I don't want to see like my favorite heroes.
Yeah, I don't want to see them in terrible movies.
Yeah, I don't want to see a terrible
Amazing
movie.
Spider-Man 2 when it got all this spoilers.
Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil.
It is a necessary evil.
I understand that, but I hate it too because I don't want to see them fail. I don't like that we have to watch them fail before we can see them succeed.
I'll say this: I'm okay with Fox having X-Men. I'm really okay with that. Fox has
done a great job with X-Men.
Fox has done a great job with X-Men.
Fox
Additionally,
has been doing okay with X-Men lately.
Basically, they're in their own universe. anyways. Like, if you read a lot of the comics, sometimes it feels like there's the Avengers, and that's the Avengers is like any character in Marvel, and then there's the X-Men, and they
I don't
seem
like
to be
it when the
whole,
X-Men are like crossed over into other
Yeah.
because they feel out of place.
Right.
Because the whole thing is that the X-Men are freaks because they're mutants, right? They
Right.
have powers that makes them, hated by society.
Yeah, like they
Right,
live
right.
in this world.
but
Yeah,
then you've
exactly.
got superheroes. And they're
Right,
loved
like
by society.
Captain
It's like,
America, and people are like, yeah,
right,
Captain
yeah,
America.
people love Captain America. So why would people love Captain America and not the X-Men just because they are born with powers versus getting powers?
I know, like, that makes no... So, I would
Yeah,
argue
it is
that
pretty
most
weird.
people don't even know the origins of most of these heroes. Like, Spider-Man, nobody knows that he was bitten
Right.
by radio.
They could be
as far as they're
mutants, no one would
concerned,
know.
Spider-Man's a mutant. Nobody knows how Spider-Man got his powers, and it's, like, a really weird way of him getting powers anyways.
Oh, but
So-
we for sure know how the Fantastic Four got their powers.
Oh, my God.
I don't. I
In
should
the
preface
movie,
this if we're going to
in
talk
the
about
movie, they take up like the first entire half of the movie.
Okay.
Is spent on showing them get their. No, actually,
I would
it's
say
building
2/3 of that
to
movie.
them get their powers.
Like, 2/3 of that movie is them getting their powers. That last act is when they have them.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to preface the fact that I haven't actually, if we're going to talk about Fantastic Four, I haven't actually seen the movie yet because I've heard awful things about it.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
have any intention to see it.
Do you like
I
the
have
Fantastic
heard-
Four? Like, do you like
What?
them as characters? Are you a fan of them?
I wouldn't say I'm a fan of them, to be honest.
I can't say I am either.
They've
I'm
never
such a big
really
fan.
piqued my interest. They seem like kind of the first starters of like the
All I
superhero
can really
age.
say is I saw the first two movies, and even though they're kind of bad, I still enjoyed them way more than this movie. This
Yeah.
movie, there's
Yeah.
nothing to enjoy.
To me, they're
It's
kind of
so
like the
boring.
grandpa, the parents of the superheroes.
Yeah.
Where, like I like
Yeah.
all the other guys more, and they kind of started it, and I respect them for that, but they're boring to me.
Okay, I'll say, like, my parents were kind of restrictive, so I read, basically what ended up, I read comics in chronological order. I read, like, I was only allowed to read, like, the old Superman ones, and I slowly progressed, and then, like, I got to Justice League, and I was really tired, and then Marvel Age came in, and I found Fantastic Four. So I read it all in, like, how history got them. So I appreciate the Fantastic Four from that standpoint, where, like, I was getting tired of, like, everybody's buddy, and, like, Superman and Batman are best friends, and then I read this Fantastic Four comic, Fantastic Four issue #1, and it's all like, and they're like a family, and they bicker, and they argue, and it's so new for comics at that time, because I had never read anything like that up until then.
Yeah.
But I would say that, like, Fantastic Four comes in waves. There's a large era where Fantastic Four is just not good, and they're kind of weird. And the early Stan Lee and Jack Kirby ones are great. And then, like, you have, like, some okay authors and stuff. And then John Byrne comes in, and John Byrne does a great thing. He does a great thing of Doctor Doom. And I feel like he makes Doctor Doom into a great villain. And then they have a huge period where they're really terrible. And then comes in freaking Jonathan Hickman. And then he does all the Secret War stuff from, then it's really great. That's just a preface that, like, we have these three different points. Like, Ven, you've seen the movies. Var, you've kind of, you know about them, but we haven't seen this
I know
movie
of
yet.
them. I've
Right.
seen. I've never really read a Fantastic Four comic book. I've only
Right.
read them in crossovers.
Right, and I'm a huge fan. Ultimate Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
I felt was great. Anyhow, but so
Yeah.
that's the perspectives we have going into this movie.
And I saw the other movies too. And
Right,
those
okay.
are okay. I never had a problem with them.
Okay, those are the mid 2000s superhero movies,
Right.
Before Downey,
They're very,
before
very
Robert
cheesy.
Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one was pretty bad. I will admit. I don't like what they did to Galactus.
Nah, I hate.
Oh
that.
yeah, nah. The
Hated
second
that.
one definitely.
But
bad.
I definitely didn't mind the first one. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was.
It was.
fun
It was
too.
just kind of campy.
Yeah, it was kind of campy, but it's one of those. It's okay.
It's kind of campy. Nothing really happens in it all too much, but it's still enjoyable.
Okay.
Like the content that they fill up that movie with is enjoyable. This movie, it's kind of the same deal where nothing really happens until the very end, and in that
Okay,
time you might as well be sleeping.
Well, okay,
You mentioned that, and I remember
man.
reading like people were complaining like literally the entire movie is like you barely even see the Fantastic Four until like the last 10 minutes where they're actually like powered up and like working as a team and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there's a horrible time lapse in like the middle
There's
of
so
the movie.
many. It's so badly paced. I'm going to explain to you this movie, Var. I'm going to explain what happens. There's a kid, and there's another kid. The one kid's really smart. The other kid gets abused by his brother. His brother says it's clobbering time before he starts beating him up, which is like the dumbest thing.
That is
so mad.
I read that, and I had a discussion with Vin about that before you arrived on the Skype call to start this podcast. And I was like, that is like the most self-loathing thing I've ever heard in my life. How do you take a generally charismatic and sort of not necessarily happy, but kind of comic relief character,
Right.
and make his main catchphrase his number one-liner like something like that, like abusive to the character's origin, and like
it's like if like the Storms, right? Like Johnny Storm and Susan Storm, like their mom died in a fire, and she's yelling, "Flame on, flame on, flame on!" And they're like, Johnny Storm's like, "Yeah, flame on, I'm gonna take that." What's up with that? Why would he say it's clobbering time?
Emo
that just it just makes me think like, wow, they saw these characters and they wanted to make a movie out of it, but they just hated the characters.
Yeah, they just made them like super depressing. Because like Ben, like you said, he's supposed to be comic relief, but the entire movie he's like,
well, I mean, he's
such
not
a
always
stick in the mud. He's so emo.
He's not always supposed to be comic relief. He's supposed to be like, he really is a tragic guy.
No, not always. That's more like Johnny.
I would say he's probably the most tragic of the four,
right?
Because of his physical changes,
right? And like, but he was supposed to be like a football star and like really like really like attractive dude, and then suddenly he's like
really
this hideous
the
monster.
most likable character.
But yeah, that's what, like he's like the likable one. He's the one that the kids will gravitate towards.
I liked the original Fantastic Four. I thought they did the way they had the Thing and his demeanor. I thought that was way better than this one. Like,
oh yeah, no, and this one he's just like.
In fact, the one character I say really stands out in this is Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm.
He's like the only character in this movie.
Michael B. Jordan's a great actor.
He's such a great actor. And you can see him like, this script, I don't know what the deal is with the script. The script's terrible. But you can see him fighting hard against how bad his script is. Like, he and Miles Teller like do their best to be entertaining on screen. And it's, Miles Teller does an okay job, but Michael B. Jordan, in my opinion, steals almost every scene he's in terms of like.
Seems like it kind of has a similar issue with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where the cast is really great.
Oh yeah,
but the script just has no direction and no focus.
How often do you get like an actor and actress who actually have a romantic like thing, whichever, on screen with such great chemistry, and then tank that movie? Anyhow, yeah.
Also, can I just say that I really did not like Sue Storm?
I don't like her either. Okay. All right,
I don't like how she looks. That was something I thought to begin with, but after seeing this movie, I really, really don't like her.
You don't like how Kate Mara looks?
No, I don't think she's the best looker out there, but
she has a very unique face, and I thought she looked kind of weird too when I first saw her in House of Cards.
Yeah,
but she quickly grew on me. I think she's really pretty.
I don't think she's a Sue Storm character though.
She doesn't look like Sue Storm.
Nah, she doesn't look the part. And
the thing that I thought was weird is that they're all super young.
Yeah, well,
because they're supposed to be based on Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Four.
They actually in Ultimate Fantastic Four, they become the team at a very young age.
Yeah, and it's actually, I mean, it's almost like they go to the negative zone as like they're trying to make a machine that will go to the negative zone, and Dr. Storm discovers Reed and takes him to the Baxter Building, and a lot of that lines up with like what happens in Ultimate. I like Ultimate.
That changes my perspective a little bit.
I like Ultimate because they do a lot of pseudoscience in it. There's like a lot of like weird stuff. Like Reed doesn't have any internal organs. Like they try to scan him, and they're like, where, how do you have any organs when you stretch out? And they go through science where he's like a bacterial like plaque basically that can do all of it. It's kind of weird, but I thought it was good.
That must put a damper on his and Sue's relationship, huh?
No, actually, because he can stretch any part of his body. So that's
well,
that's not what I meant, but I see what you're getting at.
I knew what you were getting at. Anyway,
right, okay. Now we go back to explaining the movie, though. All right. After this, though, they decide, hey, we're going to go and work and build this portal to the negative zone. It's like an alternate dimension. You don't even call it a negative zone. They call it like dimension something. Or some
they
stupid
pick up
name.
Reed at like some science.
Oh yeah,
fair.
they're at the science fair.
Like, hey, you seem really smart. We're gonna take you in.
I love that they're touring.
I read something that like Reed is at a science fair.
Yeah,
and like there are kids also at the science fair.
Yep.
Like there's like no age.
Yeah, no, it's a science fair, and like Reed, he as a high school student, he's there, and Ben Grimm's is a high school student, he's there, and then there's like these 12-year-old kids who are doing a toy car thing, and they borrow the car and they send it to the dimension, and then there's a hacker. There's a hacker guy named Victor Von Doom, and he's like a super edgy dude.
Oh, a hacker. You made me say hacker.
He's a hack actor.
Hey.
Anyhow, so they go and like Doom's like he's like super emo and kind of like
He's like an emo, boring James Dean.
he's like an emo
walks in
who wants
and
to be
then
James Dean, and he's also kind of like a nerd too, so it doesn't really work out. And he's also totally like, I mean, there's one girl in the movie, so guess who he's trying to get after? And he's mad because like freaking Whiplash, Miles Teller is like kind of getting closer to Sue, and they're flirting, having fun.
That's such a
He's
dumb
like,
plot point that needs to stop in movies.
Anyhow, let's go back. Let's turn this back a bit.
Okay.
So they build the machine. It works, and they're like, "Yeah, that's great." And so everybody leaves. And in the meantime, and then the government though, they're like, "We're gonna send our people in. We're not gonna send you." And then Victor's like, "Well, that's stupid because no one's gonna remember us." And then so he's like, "All right, everybody, come on. I got drinks. We're gonna take a drink." And so everyone's drinking. And then they're like, "Dude, we should totally just do it." And they're like, "Yeah." And then so Reed calls, like, oh, he's drunk. He calls Ben. He's like, "Man, dude, you should totally. I'm not gonna do this without you, man. You need to come over here." And he wakes him up like 3 in the morning.
Man, no, we gotta go to the other dimension.
You gotta go.
Dude,
We gotta go, Marty. Wake up, Marty. We gotta go.
Another dimension before.
We're gonna go to the dimension. We're just. Anyhow, so it really is just like Rick and Morty. That's their relationship between Reed and Ben. Like Ben's just being dragged along. So Ben's like, "Oh, dude, okay, fine." So he goes. They're drunk. They go to the dimension and they plant the flag and they're like, "Oh, cool, let's go on the little hike." And they go on the hike and then everything starts erupting and they all run back and they're like, "Oh, let's go." And then Doom gets caught in a thing and he falls and they're like, "Oh my god!" And then Sue's there and Sue somehow realizes something's going on. Sue's not like. She's
not actually
stuff.
with them at the time. She's still like on Earth.
Right. So she brings them back, and then suddenly there's an explosion, and they all get superpowers.
Yeah.
Wait, so how does Sue get superpowers?
She's like next to the.
She's next.
Oh no, she's present in the facility where they left to the other dimension.
So stupid.
So when they get transported back, there's this explosion in both dimensions.
Oh.
And Sue is affected by the explosion in the Earth dimension or whatever.
I see.
Right. So then Reed escapes and he sees and like everybody's like completely like screwed over. And he sees Ben and Ben's like this monster and Ben's like, "Hey, help me." And like Reed's like, "Don't worry, man, I'm gonna come back." And he busts out the facility and he runs off. And 1 year later, 1 year later.
Yeah, screen goes black and you just see 1 year later.
Like he literally abandons like everybody for an entire year.
Yeah, you see everyone like got their powers and they're being examined, and then Reed's like, "Oh, come get you, Ben. Don't worry, I'll be back." He leaves, and then 1 year later, and then all of a sudden,
yeah,
then you see like
it just skips a year.
It just skips a year.
What an odd place to just.
Yeah,
that is.
They skip a year and then suddenly, like, so they finally find him again, and they're all mad at him, understandably, because he abandoned them. So then they go, and then Dr. Storm's like, "Hey, man, we just need your help to get this machine back." And Reed's like, I was doing something on my own without government resources, but sure, I guess I'll join you. And like, "Oh, couldn't you just go back in the first place? Why do you have to go this whole year thing?" Or whatever. Cool.
I just remember the part where they snatched up Reed and then they have him in the aircraft sitting there with Ben.
Yeah,
and Ben's like sitting there. He's like, "You kind of left us, Reed." He's like super depressed.
Wait, so what was Reed's reason for leaving?
He feels that he's too dangerous. He's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be next to me right now," like a freaking ex-boyfriend.
Wait, Reed feels like he's too dangerous?
Yeah, Reed's like,
all he does is stretch, right?
No, not his powers, but he's like, "Oh, I took you guys into this mess, and you guys don't need to be around me right now."
What is he?
Which is kind of dumb.
That's really dumb.
It's super dumb.
That's a very contrived reason to split
that
them.
again.
Really contrived. And then you see that, like, and then this is also weird. Like, you see everybody's experimenting with their powers, and Johnny's gonna sign on to the military, like Ben has been, and his dad really doesn't want to do it. And there's no reason for it. There's no reason for Johnny not signing up in the military other than the military is bad? ? Like, they never make that clear. It's just, like, they have a conversation with Dr. Storm's like, Johnny, I'm disappointed on you. I don't think you should do this. And he was like, well, you never let me make my own decisions, Dad, so I'm just going to go do this. And you're like, okay, why is working with the military bad? Isn't that what Dr. Storm
there's like
does?
this thing between Johnny and his dad where it's like, oh, you
isn't
said
he
I
an
was
adult
gonna.
at this point,
you
right?
said I need to find my purpose. Maybe this is my purpose. Joining the military as like some Human Torch.
yeah, he's like the Will Smith thing. Like, yeah, it's just, so it's that, huh? We're just some kind of
Suicide
human torch.
And they do that in this movie too.
Okay, we'll get to that. So then Victor comes back. They send a guy over, and then Victor comes back into this world. And Victor has like
How?
Okay, so they send another negative zone thing to that world.
Why the heck would they do that?
Because they want to figure out how to get the powers.
They sent another team into the negative world.
Right.
They go back. So Doctor Doom comes back with them.
Right. And then Doctor Doom starts killing everybody. Like, he has his powers are like, they're really unclear. They're like telekinesis, and he can kill people with his mind.
Doing things.
Yeah, he just kills people, and like they all start dropping like flies.
Didn't he like make some dude's head explode
or
something?
Yep.
Yeah.
He can just do that. Except when it comes to the Fantastic Four, for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So he comes, he kills Dr. Storm, he takes everybody, like, everybody goes back to the negative zone. He's trying to build, like, he's opening a portal, and it's like, it's gonna destroy both worlds, because he's built this ever portal thing out of rocks in the negative zone. Okay. I can't defend what they're doing in this movie.
So he goes back to negative zone.
So he's just kind of evil then, for no reason.
He's just kind of evil. He's like,
when he comes back, he's like, humanity is evil. Like, I must destroy this
he's like,
evil.
You should have left me there. And we're like, we thought you were dead. And he's like, I don't care. It doesn't change anything.
Now I hate the entire world, and I'm going to destroy you all.
We kill everybody that ever lived. And then they're like, all right, we got to do this together, guys. And they all like, keep going. And then, like, basically the whole thing is basically like Sue, at the end, Sue makes Ben invisible, and he yells, "It's clobbering time," which his abusive brother said right before he beat him up. I don't know why, like, in that moment he's like, man, I could do something like, this is for Earth, or like something like that. Or I could be like, man, my abusive brother used to say this to me. Take this. Anyhow, it's clobbering time. Victor gets smashed. They save the world. They're back, and they get a new facility. Oh, they also, like, they make the military give them their own facility. I don't know how, because they're in the room, and the military's like, this is a lot of money, and it's kind of a stupid idea. Why should we say yes? And then Johnny's like, you should say yes. And then they get it. That's how it happens.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Freaking telekinesis wave. All right, so they get there, and at the end they're discussing, oh, we should have her name. And then like, they basically do the thing again. They're like, so that's it, right? We're just some sort of Fantastic Four. Except they do the Avengers thing where Ben's like, man, this is pretty fantastic. And Reed's like, oh, hey, how about? And then the cuts.
Boy.
That's it. That's black. And then credits.
Fantastic. Wait, say that again. Fantastic. Wait, that's it. And then,
add a 4 to that, and we're good. We're golden. Money. We'll print money with that. It's a logo.
There's another thing earlier in the movie where you're introduced to Victor, and I guess they're like, he's like talking with Reed and Sue whoever else is in the room, and then he like says something that's a little offhand, and then Sue kind of like turns away from him, and she's like, "Oh, Dr. Doom over here."
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
so
really?
Yeah, you
really,
gotta do that.
I really want to slap you right now.
I know.
Why?
It's so bad. It's just terrible. And like, the pacing,
that sounds like a really bad
The pacing
movie.
is all off. They only get their powers at the end. There's like this anti-military thing for no reason. It just sucks all the way around.
It's like they had a bunch of ideas, for a movie. And then they were like, "Oh, we have a licensed Fantastic Four thing we need to do." Okay, just take that.
Well,
and
the
put
director
that
did say that he
Josh
wanted to
Trank,
make a sci-fi movie.
He wanted to make like a spiritual successor to Chronicle, which is about young people getting horrific superpowers. And he kind of did it, and he kind of didn't. And like, it was just, honestly, like, there's rumors that like Chronicle was actually ghost directed by Max Landis, and that's why it turned out so great. And Josh Trank helped, And Josh Trank has basically sabotaged his career with this.
Yeah, that was a really dumb move, by the way, going on Twitter and being like, "Oh,
and
my movie
also
would have been better."
Well, I mean, even before that, like when he got stoned and everything, and he like kind of trashed his apartment. Then they basically
apparently kind of messed up Miles Teller's career too. Like I think Teller like lost a role because of this movie or something.
Well, no, I think there was a scheduling conflict. I don't think he directly lost a role. Miles Teller and like Michael B. Jordan are really up and coming actors. They're really like for their age, they're one of the hottest names out there. I'm sure they'll get some more work. But Josh Trank was supposed to direct a Star Wars movie, and Fox basically talked to Disney, and they're like, you know, is he trustworthy? And they're like, it's like a freaking parent, you know, like you know, it's like there's two parents, and they're like, oh, I want your kid to come mow my lawn. Is he responsible? And the other kids and the parents are like, I don't know. He kind of, you know, he smokes weed and he does all this kind of stuff. And he crashes his room, and he kind of talks back to us.
I'm afraid he's just gonna smoke my lawn.
No, it's like the two parents get together and it's like, oh, your son wants to marry my daughter, and they're like, oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know that.
They have to court the first.
Oh, it was like it was like courting. Yeah, no, that's actually what it's like. It's like courting. He goes, ask the dad. Whatever.
Yeah, this movie was so bad. Like probably the worst movie I've seen in a long time. I can't recall the last bad movie I watched.
It was pretty bad.
This one was just so bad. This one was so bad it made me mad. Like the end of it, I was like, "Wow, that."
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe
glad
they made
I
this.
didn't spend money to see that.
Yeah, me too.
I just find the controversy around it so interesting.
I thought it
Just
really
like how it even came to be and like what was happening and why they went through with it.
I also heard that apparently when the cast was interviewed about the movie, this like comic book nerd was like asking them questions about the movie and the comics to see what they knew, and apparently they couldn't even really explain what the movie was about.
Right, because they couldn't explain it because there were so many reshoots, and they're like, we don't actually know what's going to be in the final cut. Because originally it was supposed to be Victor Domashev was the guy, and then the people were at uproar and they reshot it to be Victor Von Doom, and it was just, and then Kate Mara had to do reshoots in this wig that was terrible because she didn't want to dye her hair again. And
yeah, I remember
seeing
an article
and I
about
also
that.
heard that on set Miles Teller almost got into like a physical fight with Josh Trank.
Honestly, I can see that because this was a good cast. I mean, like they weren't my ideal picks for Fantastic Four, but I liked the cast, and I like Josh Trank. I like Chronicle, and I thought this. I was afraid this would be a really good movie, and then we'd have to be like Marvel isn't getting it.
I only really liked Michael B. Jordan, but even then, that's not like the role for him. And I guess I kind of like Miles Teller. Oh, he's a good actor, but I don't think this movie was for him either.
I think he kind of fit Reed, but I get you. He wasn't like this movie wasn't the movie he should have been in.
Yeah, nah. And Kate
Mara.
What's her name? Kate Mara, and whoever plays Ben Grimm.
I honestly don't know. He's not even really in this movie.
They shouldn't be in this movie like ever.
I think, all right,
harsh.
I only think the way a Fantastic Four movie will really work is if you have to make an older kind of Fantastic Four, where like Reed and Sue are already married, and they have Franklin.
Oh yeah, where they're already pre-established.
Right, we're already pre-established, and they have
they
have their kids. Because when they're all like teens, it doesn't work because they're not like the X-Men. They're not like a bunch of teenagers who get powers.
Right, their story's never been about angst or growing pains.
Basically, the Fantastic Four they were just that for maybe about, I'd say 5-6 years, and then they had Franklin. So they've always had a kid for the majority of their comic lifespan. And so the stories of like Reed and Sue as parents, and then like Johnny and Ben as uncles, that whole dynamic, that like really shapes up the Fantastic Four, I feel.
Yeah, and I don't know why they wouldn't go with that for a movie, because it's like we already have our teenager superheroes. That's already something we have. We have those, a plethora of those.
We have too many.
What we don't have right now, ironically, is adult heroes who, are married with children.
The last time we had that was The Incredibles. That was it. And The Incredibles is so good.
And
you can do so much with that. Like you can do the father and the wife and
it's ironic, but it's ironic because like for the longest time, adult superheroes were the only superheroes. That's why Spider-Man was such a big deal. Right, it was like the first actual hero who was a teenager. But now that's basically all we have as far as cinema.
I feel like I see teen superheroes all the time, and it's always like like this superhero high school concept. It's like that thing. I see that too often. So
Did you ever see Sky High?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Man,
Sky High. That movie was like that's a classic
really fun
movie for
movie. I
all
liked
the
that a lot
wrong
when I was
reasons.
a kid.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, but basically, yeah, that's how I would do it. I personally, I'm holding out that Fox wants to do a X-Men TV show. Marvel has to write off on that. They're not going to for obvious reasons right now. But if Fox are like, hey, you write off on this, we'll give you Fantastic Four. We'll get. Right now they're trying to posture and be like Fantastic Four 2 confirmed. I don't think they're going to go through with it. It was a commercial
I mean, they're
flop.
going to have to give them Fantastic, because from what I've heard, this movie tanked so badly they've lost millions of dollars on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not like with Sony. Sony had like a huge bunch of stuff happen at once, and The Amazing Spider-Man only added to that. And they also had a company in Japan that was like, a parent company. Sony in Japan was kind of weighing in on them.
But here, it's like Fantastic Four is the clear source of where all that money went and where
Exactly.
it's lost.
But-
It's not good. It's not a good. I can't see them continuing with the license.
I
Anymore.
can't
They might as
either.
well just sell it to Marvel.
I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, X-Men is a really popular franchise. People like seeing X-Men. People like TV shows right now. We're going to just leverage this and get an X-Men TV show off.
But see, that's the
I'm
thing.
okay
I
with.
don't think Fantastic Four has any leverage. I don't think they can be like,
No. Marvel does want them back. Marvel's been
They
trying
will,
to get.
but surely they
like-
can just wait, because it's not like they're going to make another movie.
Well, yeah, but like by that time,
No,
like
but they could always use the characters.
yeah, I mean, like
I guess, yeah.
also like you could build up the Silver Surfer and Galactus and Doctor Doom, and you could do all of that.
Because
like,
honestly,
immediately.
the Fantastic Four, I don't think are the right characters to really have their standalone movie.
yeah, no, they
It's
work
like,
within
I
a
was
universe.
talking to Kahi about this a while back, where they're better as supporting characters.
They really are.
Yeah, they're better as like the established heroes that are kind of used as like
Yeah, launching
advisors,
pad. That's
sort
why.
of.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. They're like
anything-
advisors.
anything you see, like most of the movies coming out now, they're all introduced in Fantastic Four. Black Panther introduced in Fantastic Four. He's a Fantastic Four character. The Inhumans, Fantastic Four characters. Anything like most of the stuff coming up. Like Namor, the Submariner, like all these other things were first introduced in the Fantastic Four or were tied in. Spider-Man's first issue had him going to the Fantastic Four's house and being like, "Hey,
Remember
can
that.
I get a job?" So they're perfect launching pad for Marvel, and they really work within the universe. Like when there's all these smart people, you have Tony Stark, and you have all the, having this kind of dad character. I feel balances that out. I like the Fantastic Four from a universe perspective, and I feel
Yeah.
like they work well with Marvel and the Marvel
Also,
Cinematic
especially
Universe.
their villains.
Especially their villains are so
Doctor
great.
Doom is like one of the top Marvel villains, and
He's so
MCU
good.
has not gotten to use him like at all.
Yeah,
and then Galactus too.
Galactus, Kang the Conqueror is a huge villain. That's only been able to use for, because he's part of Fantastic Four. Stuff like that. I feel like having the Fantastic Four have the best rogues gallery. I feel outside of the Avengers and X-Men, they have the best rogues gallery in just about any of the other Marvel films. Spider-Man, but you know what I'm
I
saying.
think Spider-Man's.
I think
Yeah,
Spider-Man's got the
Spider-Man's
best
way better.
rogues gallery.
But they're better than freaking Captain America or like Iron Man. The Fantastic Four have really great villains.
Iron Man's got a crap.
Iron Man's
gallery.
villains are like
Yep.
other people
They're
who
awful.
stole his stuff.
His best
Yeah.
villain is named after an orange.
Then a mandarin and an orange aren't the same thing.
Well, I mean,
They might as well be. They taste the same, look the same. Look, I'm done
They're
here,
different.
they're
They're
different.
No.
different.
Man. I'm different.
One is just
I'm
a
different.
stale
I'm
piece
different.
of
Yeah, I'm different.
fruit, and then the average guy Pierce. And I was trying to do the.
Guy
I was trying to work it in. I couldn't do that.
I see what you did
But
there.
yeah, no. Friggin' the Mandarin is like anything. All of Iron Man's villains are like made of the commie era, man. They're Russian or Chinese because they're both communists. Same with Captain America. They're all political villains. That's why they don't work.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, well.
what can you
Poor
do?
Red Skull, forever forgotten.
Red Skull.
Hopefully the next smart or hopefully
Fox
this doesn't
just
doesn't, like,
do this.
transition to X-Men or something. And
Yeah.
they'll keep
Yeah,
doing
no.
it
I
like
hope
that.
they don't integrate Fantastic Four with X-Men. I hope they just give the rights over. Do an X-Men TV show, which I kind of want to see. It'll be like Heroes, but with like people you actually care about and know. I think it would be cool. But that would be ideally best of both worlds. X-Men TV show. Fantastic Four goes back to Marvel. We all learn a better experience from this, from how you shouldn't make a movie just to retain rights.
Yeah, well, I bet Marvel executives are laughing it up.
Oh yeah, like Kevin Feige's like he's doing the thing where he's crying off the money.
Yeah.
From Zombieland. Again.
Oh well. Wrap us up. Let's get out of here.
Yep. All right. Well, this has been fun. I'd like to thank you all for watching.
Oh my gosh.
Be sure to rate, comment,
My
subscribe.
God. Just go to Vessel.
Go to Vessel.
Go to Vessel.
Please
the
go to Vessel.
TTV channel. Be sure to check out the message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com.
Watching on Vessel supports our show and helps us create podcasts just like this one and tons of awesome videos. So if you're interested in that, please head over there. It's absolutely free. You don't have to enter any credit card information unless you want to.
Oh, but it's absolutely free if you're going to watch our podcast. There are certain episodes where you have to pay to watch the podcast.
No. Early access you have to pay for. If you want to watch our videos early,
yes,
you pay for it.
Yes. Sorry.
If you don't want to support us and you don't want to watch videos early, or that's not that important to you, totally fine. You can watch us on Vessel. That still supports the show more than YouTube. And you can watch all of our videos as released at usual scheduled release time. But if you are interested in adding some extra support and watching videos early, you can absolutely pay for early access if you so desire. But that is all up to you.
You do
whatever you want to do.
Audible.
Regardless, Vessel helps us out a lot. So,
Right.
Plugging. All right. Come on, Vin.
All right. Let's see.
Do I have to make a checklist for
yeah,
you?
come on. It's very simple. What's your name?
Dang.
Vin, you're too old for this.
LJ?
You're not Viper or X. Come on, you need to be experienced.
Oh. I'm Venom.
I'm Bar.
I'm Kahi.
And this has been TTV Talks.
That was the worst outro ever.
Freaking clobbering time for that outro, man.
Thanks for watching, everybody.